So when you die or sleep, same thing. You lose the immediacy of the environment you call your daily living. You may slip into a sort of stupor of just not thinking, or you may dream vividly, where the mind accesses where it's wandering. And of course, where it's wandering, it frightens itself, and you might wake up then because it was a nightmare. Or it may transform into something else, and it seems random, but it's simply not that. It's the consequence of inconsistency in your makeup, in your values, in your propensity. You have values that contradict each other and cause havoc in their interrelationship with each other as regards what you access from, if you like, God's mind, the mind. And the ideal is when you sleep, you experience a harmonizing process. Regenerates your peace and your hopes and your immediately affecting values and so on. And you wake up refreshed. The body, of course, has been much repaired while you were resting, sleeping. Unless, of course, you had such a turbulent time that you wake up exhausted or depressed, or, and preoccupied with what you've just been dreaming, or at least left with the residual of things are not good, not happy, not right, not full of the fullness of life. So we can see, in a sense, that our maturity is a case of bringing things into an order, but we want an order that is expansive, abundant life, life eternal. And we use our experience here in a very narrow locality of access of God's mind, but in some sense enough that we can handle. And we train, and that expanse of locality increases as we become able to cope with more and more. A great learning time. Whether this continues afterwards, I suspect it does. But a bit like a skilled or professional person, you get good at knowing what you can handle and or how to react with things you can't handle. And even, if you like, in the next life, in the next world, in the next experience, you are still, in some sense, developing, maturing, learning to handle according to what your values are in such situation. Now, in my Father's house are many mansions, but I'm come that you might have life, abundant life, life eternal. The glory I had with thee before the world was. You see, an access to a fullness of God that's simply wonderful compared to what you've been experiencing here in large measure. So I'm come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. Whatsoever is good and lovely, think on these things. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. If I go and prepare a place for you, I shall come again to receive you to myself, that where I am, you may be also. Father, I pray that they be with me where I am, that they may behold my glory. Thou lovest me before the world was. And thine they were, and thou gavest them me. I've kept them in thy name. How are you kept? In trusting that God is your heavenly Dad. That is the anchor, the rock on which you stand. And it's everything. It's all that he is. You know, there are a host of students, and we have a policy basically in the universities of passing 85% of them, because goodness, they won't come here if they don't think they're going to get a pass. But one or two students, well, they're fanatical. They wipe the floor. They're like Marshall. They're down, and his friend, you know, they're down at the library waiting for it to open in the mornings. The other students haven't surfaced from trying to recover from the joys and activities of the night before. Not so with these two. They get in there and they work together where they're going. They sort through. What do you think so-and-so? What did you make of it? I don't know. What did he mean? Where is the reference for it? Well, it seems to be this part of the textbook, but I can't make head nor tail of this bit. Or perhaps he's got it wrong. You know, you get one or two of your students. They're on a par with you already. And you think, where does this come from? You know, you're talking to them as one colleague to another. I mean, you can see where their lack of training is, where you can fill in there, but my goodness. And you know, Marshall does well on one of the papers. Chap who lectures it is not going to be there after all at short notice. What's the department do? Marshall, do you feel you could then lecture it? You bet. You know, there's none of this modesty, mate. Yes. And I'm dying to do it. You know, this is me. Yes, thank you. Lovely. Wow. Yeah, right. What you want? You can go straight to heaven now. You can go all the way. With God, all things are possible. And simply knowing this is an incredible encouragement to finding you have this. And it is that. It's finding you have. These things were done from the beginning of time. That's why he knows at the end from the beginning. He knows the incredible, wonderful person that you actually are. It's just that you don't know it yet. When you get your values in order, you love and trust God, quite simply, you become as Him. Of course, because you love Him to bits. You're no risk with your freedom. You're nothing but blessing. You need to be in heaven, mate. Welcome to the kingdom of God. Thank you.